Today's second reading from the letter to the Hebrews begins with the words, "Faith is the realization of what is hoped for and evidence of things not seen." Faith is the realization of what is hoped for and evidence of things not seen. Faith is a common theme in today's readings, and believing in what we have not seen underlies our faith in the Lord. The first reading from the book of Wisdom gives us insights into how to believe. God will save us, and we must trust in God. For many of us, it's a challenge to believe that God is always with us, and that in whatever happens, He is present. Yet our faith must bring us to that point over and over, because there are times when life is difficult, and we sometimes feel alone and forgotten. We cannot expect God to be a magician who just makes everything wonderful. That is not God's promise. Our God promises to be with us and to help us in the struggles that we may have in our lives. If we give up God and say to ourselves simply that, it doesn't make any difference, it's not going to happen, and we lose faith, then we are lost. But if we lose our own ego, pride, self-interest, and affect our lives, and keep our faith, then we are blessed. Our second reading gives us an account of the faith of Abraham, who we refer to as our father in faith. Abraham becomes a model for us to always walk in faith and to go on trusting. Abraham trusted God over and over again, and eventually all that the Lord promised him was met. God invites each one of us to follow Him by loving God and serving God and serving our neighbors. Sometimes I think examples of faith come best in little stories. Here at the parish, we've been undergoing our campaign to build a new parish hall and religious education center, building our future together. We've been at it for about a year. And if you stop and think back, the goal that we have is very, very large. And when we started that, there were certain people that were like, good luck. And, other things may have been said too, But we've done quite well. Because we started off together with faith in God and faith in each other. And working together, we have come along. Now, within this, over the winter and early spring, Father and Daniel Williams, who was the seminarian that was here last year, went around and visited all of the people, all of the parishioners who were in nursing homes, or assisted living facilities, or who were shut-ins. And, folks, when you're in a nursing home, you probably don't have money in which to financially participate in the drive. But what we asked for, Father Daniel asked for primarily, was their prayers. And they were all very, very pleased and happy. So for the last at least 6 months, probably even a little bit more as we started asking people for prayers, one of the things that I think has driven some of our success is that we have about 100 to 120 people who are praying for the success of the campaign. And through their faith, is helping to make this work. Yesterday, we had a funeral for Millie Cassidy. In Father's homily, he spoke a little bit about a visit that he had with her not long before she died. Now, she was a lady who was in her early 90s, 92, 93 years old. and had been in assisted living for the past few years. And as the conversation kind of moved around, Father asked her, as she knew that she was getting ready to pass on. She said, Millie, who would you like to see when you get to the other side? Now, Father asked this knowing that she came from a very large family. She had a very large family of her own, but there were all sorts of, siblings and grandparents and one thing and another. Millie, who is it that you would kind of like to see when you get to the other side? And immediately her answer was, I want to see Jesus. She was ready. I want to see Jesus. Now we can find ourselves like the servant in today's gospel who decides that God is not going to come anytime soon. And so begins to live a life that is not consistent with loving and serving God and neighbor. Or we can be prudent servants who know that God can come at any moment and who then strive to live faithful lives. The gospel brings us back to the struggle to obey God. Luke tells us, where your treasure is, there also will your heart be. We can ask ourselves, where is my heart? What is my treasure? Answering that will give us immense knowledge about ourselves, and we'll also see the direction of our lives. Millie Cassidy knew where her heart was and what was to be her treasure. She wanted to see